Welcome back to Hertz Arena for another Florida Everblades pregame show alongside Jake Maurice. I'm Ali Vellucci. Today we are talking the first matchup between the Kansas City Mavericks and the Florida Everblades, how the Mavericks and Everblades kept their PKs on lock, and how physicality will play its role into this weekend. Jake, a very close game all around last night. Exactly what part of Florida's game was a difference maker in the result?
I think just their consistency all throughout the game. Florida was pushing well. They were playing a solid defensive structured game. They were believing in themselves. They were playing with some good momentum. They were playing with a steady pace or steady amount of energy. So that was just maintained throughout the whole game. When you're consistent through 60 minutes, it just makes everything so much easier. Everything just feels more natural on the ice. It just looks better when you're watching from the bench. You want to keep that going. So just that consistent 60 minutes from Florida really made the difference last night.
Coming into this first game, Florida knew that they needed to be strong offensively, really limit those neutral zone turnovers, and just play their style of game. We saw a lot of the new players play to that last night. How did you see the rest of the team take on that mentality?
Yeah, well, when the new guys are getting into it, you don't have any excuse as the veterans or the guys that have been here for a long time to not be right there with them. And just when the full team shows buy-in, it's almost impossible to beat the Everblades. I mean, that's why they won the Kelly Cup last year, right? Is full-on buy-in from everybody in the system. It makes everything just flow more smoothly. It leads to those consistent 60-minute efforts that got the Everblades the win on Wednesday. So it's just great to see that the new guys are getting into the system right away, and it's great to see that the old guys are maintaining it heading towards the playoffs, because they're not too far away now. We can kind of see them over the horizon.
We got to talk special teams. PK units for both the Mavericks and Florida were outstanding last night. Florida went 5 for 5 on the PK, and then our captain Ben Masela tallies a shorty. What systematically has been the difference maker for that unit recently?
Yeah, especially coming off a week against Allen where it wasn't at its best. It's great to see the Everblades have a perfect night on the penalty kill. Captain Masela getting a shorty brings the Everblades up to 10 shorthanded goals on the year, second in the ECHL. So it's great to see that level of offense that the Everblades are able to generate even when down a man. And with Captain John McCarron potentially coming back in a couple weeks, he had 6 shorthanded goals last year, so that might add an extra element to the penalty kill. And just when you get into your opponent's heads and they have to kind of wonder about because the chances that you're generating while shorthanded, because the Everblades had shorthanded opportunities before that Ben Masela goal. It wasn't just like it was just a one and done. It makes it so that they're a little more tepid crossing over your blue line. They don't want to risk making a turnover. They want to make a safer play. They want to figure out something that works better. And when they overthink like that, you can take advantage and get more shorthanded opportunities, or at the very least clears last night. Cole Moberg in particular was really good, making some clears on the penalty kill. So when you get that level of shorthanded offense into your game where the other team has to actually start being concerned about it, not just thinking of, okay, as long as we don't make just an awful mistake, we don't have to worry about the other team while they're down a man, you get into their heads and it just makes penalty killing so much easier.
Defenseman Lucas Kalba off the IR, back on the PK unit. He really just brings a presence to that. He settles the puck when he needs to. His hockey IQ is off the charts, and you can tell his team likes having him on the blue line. What did you see from his game last night that really just set him apart?
Just a nice calming presence. It's great to have him back, and Masela really just changes the look of the blue line completely when you can put those two out on the ice. They can shut a game down when you need to, like late last night. They can provide offense when you need to through their vision and through their hockey IQ that you mentioned. And when you have those guys out there, it gives you, on the blue line, a nice steady shift where the goalie doesn't have to worry about the blue liners making turnovers, because those guys are so good with that, at getting pucks out of their own zone. The guys in the offensive zone, when they're forechecking, they know they've got good backup at the blue line to hold pucks in so they can go for sustained offensive pressure. And Lucas Kalba is probably, I would say, the smartest defenseman on the team, and him being back, being able to go on the PK, allows guys like Zach Ewens and Nathan Staios to focus more on the power play where they're more deadly, and those guys, Kalba especially and Masela, can handle the big PK minutes.
Jake and I with a little redemption after last night. I said Ford Carson Vogt an assist, not too bad of a game, but he got on the score sheet. Yeah, I feel good about it.
Yeah, and I like that in his first game, he didn't look like he fell into the trap that so many players do when they get to a new team, trying to do too much, trying to show that the team made a good trade by bringing you in, that it was a good move. He just played his game, adapted himself well to the Everblades style of play, and picked up a helper to, at the time, give the Everblades the lead.
He settled in pretty nicely. He looked pretty natural out there. I'm going to go maybe another safe option, Oliver Chow, to assist last night. He's always just kind of consistently on the score sheet. I'm going to go him.
Yeah, and he's been getting better and better all season. I did well too last night. Joe Pendon's game-winning goal and a pair of assists.
See, redemption. We're moving on. New series, new week. New us.
New us, yeah. So I'm going with Nolan Neen. He's got 5 assists over his last 4 games, 3 in his last 2. He's been moving the puck better and better as the season has gone along. And when you get you get offense from your defense, and the more of your blue liners that can be a part of that, the more dangerous your team is. Nolan Need getting himself involved with that more and more over the last few games has added an extra element to the Everblades game. So I want to see him continue that tonight.
Game 2 of the series, 3 keys of the game. For me, it's really going to be for Florida to win those wall battles. I think that's going to be a huge key for them. It's going to limit KC's opportunities and really bring the focus back to Florida's style of game, which is what head coach Brad Ralph has said all week long that needs to be the focus for Florida.
Yeah,
Jake?
especially against Kansas City. They got some big bodies on their blue line
Yep.
that you got to battle against. You've got to be very smart with your board battles and know when to get help, know when one of your teammates needs some support along the wall, know if you're the defense on the blue line, when to pinch in, when to back off. All that stuff is going to be very important. For me, net front traffic is going to be big. For the Everblades, their game-winning goal. Joel Menendez is out front. He's there for the rebound, buries it. Everblades win 4-3. The very first goal of the game when Kansas City took a 1-0 lead in the first is just a floater from the blue line, but Fitzpatrick can't get clean eyes on the puck, and it sails by him into the back of the net, and KC's up 1-0. So making sure that you manage to get yourself in front of the net and block the netminders for Kansas City's eyes, and in front of whichever Fitzpatrick or Johnson is in the net for Florida, you clear those guys away, make sure there's no sticks in the lanes to deflect pucks off course and into the back of the net. Managing the front of the net is going to be very important.
All right, some Friday night hockey coming up for you guys. Warm-ups and puck drop are up next.